I'm just about to put some new jams on, and so I thought I would share my process with you and give you some tips on how to get a good application for your jams. I've got this lovely to put on. This is Mermaid Tails, and it is gorgeous and shimmery and beautiful colors. So that's what I'll be putting on today. So this is what a full sheet looks like, just in case you have never seen one before. You're going to get 2 applications for manicures out of it, and then these bigger guys up here will do 1 and 2 pedicures. So those are for your toes. And I'll show you another time how to cut those up to make sure you get 2 feet worth out of them. So everything I'm going to be using pretty much either comes in the application kit, or you probably have it home, or you can easily pick it up at the drugstore. So this is the Jamberry Application Kit bag, the new one, the lovely purple one. And in it you're going to get, let me see if I can get it all in here, 2 alcohol wipes. These are not the ones that came with it. These are ones I just picked up at the drugstore because I already used my Jamberry ones. A pair of really good nail scissors. You're going to get a couple of orange sticks, this handy dandy purple rubber cuticle pusher, Jamberry nail file. It's just your standard kind of manicure nail file. A nice little buffer block, and a pair of nail clippers. If you do order the application kit with cuticle oil, you'll also get a bottle of cuticle oil, which I don't have here right now, but you'll get that in there as well. And some of the other tools I'm going to be using, I like to use tweezers to help me to grab the wrap so I don't have to touch it with my fingertips, because I don't want to transfer any oil onto the adhesive, then they won't stick. And then I also just going to be trying out a sort of new thing, is a glass nail file. I've heard great things about this for finishing off the tips. It's very, very fine grit, and it helps to get the tips smoothed after you apply and take off the extra wrap. And then, of course, the heat source. You can use your blow dryer, or if you happen to have one of these babies, this is the Jamberry mini heater. It's awesome. I guess that's upside down. So it comes with a little kickstand. The heat comes out right here. It's flocked or covered in kind of a felt so that you can touch it and not burn yourself. It's not on right now though. So this is a really awesome thing because you don't have to hold your blow dryer. You can just use both hands to do whatever you're doing and have your heat source right here. You can also keep it on the whole time if you choose. It's very quiet. It's now on and you can't even hear it, which is great because my daughter's sleeping right now and I don't want to wake her up with the blow dryer. Anyway, so you're probably not gonna see my face through most of this because I want you to see my fingertips. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you 2 different application methods that I like to use, and the first one is the warm method, and that is pretty much what Jamberry recommends on their website and their application instructions. And I think I've shared kind of my step-by-step version of that in a picture form on my Facebook page. So if you're looking for that, it's on there. So what you do is you're going to grab your wrap. You can bend the sheet a little bit, the plastic backing sheet, just to kind of lift up an edge. And I'm going to start by doing my pinky nails. So I'm going to grab the edge of one and, not touching it with my fingertips, I'm going to cut it in half. And then, let's see. I like to use this little dude sometimes as well. So I've already prepped my nails, and that is probably the most important part of all of this, is to make sure your nails are prepped and ready. I washed them with some dish soap to get off any oil, and I soaked them a little bit just to soften up the cuticle, and I pushed back my cuticles with my rubber cuticle pusher, and then I made sure my nails were the shape that I wanted them and filed them all nice so that they're ready to go. And then I used my buffer block to just rough up or smooth out the surface, and also It'll help to remove any of the invisible cuticle that you'll sometimes get, that thin layer of skin that grows right on the edges here. Because if your jam nail wrap gets stuck to any skin, it will lift up. So make sure that you've got all of the skin removed from that area, and then you shouldn't have any problems. All right, so this baby is ready to go. I've got my heater on. I'll do my left hand first. So you've got your wrap ready to go, and if you're lucky enough to have nails that have the same shaped nail bed as these wraps, good for you. Most of my nails are the same shape, and so I don't have to do a lot of trimming and stuff, but some of you may have to trim right along this edge. I have to do it for my thumbs because, as you can see, it's kind of square. I'll show you a little better on this thumb. This is very straight, and so I have to trim this edge a little bit to make it a little more straight. Easily done with these guys, and in a minute I'll show you another trick on how you can get the wraps sized and shaped to your nail. But anyway, here we go. Simple. If your nail is already the right shape, or the wrap's the right shape for your nail, you're good to go. You're going to take your wrap, you're going to get your heat source, and you're going to hold it up toward the heat source with the adhesive side towards the heat. So I'm heating up the back, and you'll notice it starts to curl. That means it's nice and warm and that adhesive is nice and sticky. All right. So once you've done that, you're going to line up, how it's best to see this, line up that curved part with your cuticle. You're going to place it on your finger, stick it down. All right, so it's on there. And then I just kind of take my thumb of my opposite hand, and I start in the middle, and I go straight down the middle of the nail, pushing it down. And then I'll go to the edges. I go out toward the sides on either side, just to get it on there initially. All right, make sure it's not stuck to any skin. We're good. And then I'm going to heat it again. So I'm going to actually heat it from the other side. So I'm going to heat up my finger this way. Heat it up just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my cuticle pusher and really push down the edges. Make sure it's nice and sealed all the way around and all the way to the tip. So if you've got a lot of excess like this, what I like to do is give it a little bit of a tug and tug it kind of down around the edge just to make sure it gets nicely sealed on the tip. Heat it up a little bit again if you do that. Alright. Alright, so it is on there. And then another little tip I like to do, actually I'm going to just trim it a little bit because there's a lot of excess on there. So I'm going to take my nail scissors and I'm just going to trim it, leaving a little bit of excess hanging over the edge of the nail. So that's my extra there. So you can see, I don't know if you can, there's still a little bit left there. Now here is a super trick that I absolutely love. Is you take a freezer baggie, it's your regular old freezer baggie. It doesn't have to be brand name, but I do recommend the freezer bag and not the thin sandwich or snack baggie, because this is a thicker plastic and it's going to protect you from the heat a little bit more and protect your nails from the heat a little bit more. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this baggie tightly around your finger, and it really concentrate on pulling it tight on the edge or the tip of your nail, and then you're gonna give it a blast of heat, just about 10 seconds or so, and this basically will shrink wrap the wrap to your nail. Alright, so that's really sealing the tip down there. Alright, so you may want to file that excess off really quickly and get that done with, but I would recommend waiting a little while until it cools a bit, So what I would go and do is do the rest of the nails on this hand, and then I would come back and start filing that off. I'm going to quickly show you another method, very similar, very easy. So we'll do the other hand. And this is called the reverse warm method, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to grab the other side of that wrap, and instead of heating it before you put it on, I guess I should have said make sure your nails are really clean with alcohol wipes beforehand. Instead of heating it before, you're going to place it on your nail before heating it up. So just gently place it there. Don't press it down yet. The adhesive isn't going to be as sticky, so you can take a look at it and see if it's centered on your nail, how you like it, make sure it's not crooked and stuff like that before you go ahead and really stick it down. So once you've got it, like you can move it a little bit to either side. Once you've got it where you want it, then you're going to heat, not the adhesive side, but the top side. So that's why they call it reverse. So you're going to give that a blast of heat. You'll see it start to curl. It's curling up. And then you can go ahead and push it down the center first, and then over to the sides. There you go. And then everything else is pretty much the same from here. So I reheat it, give it a good seal down the edges with this baby. Make sure the tips are nice and I trim it. Get my baggie on there. Give it some heat. And that one is ready to be filed down now. All right, I'm just going to turn my heater off for a second. So this one was the first one I did. It should be cool enough now to file down. I'm going to get some of this other stuff out of the way. So you just take your file and you're going to file in a downward motion, 90 degrees, so straight down. And you don't have to do it really with a lot of force or a lot of pressure, but you may have to do it for several times just to make sure. Alright, so most of it is coming off. It's just stuck on the sides, and I have really curvy nails, so going straight down along the very corners, I have to kind of go, I don't know how to best to show this, but I have to go on a bit of a sideways angle, just on the corners. And I make sure I go straight up and down the rest of the time. All right. And now I mentioned that glass nail file. I got a tip from some other jam maniacs, jam fanatics, jam addicts, whatever you want to call them. And some people really love these very fine grit glass nail files. And what they'll do is, so you've done the 90 degrees, if you just slightly angle it over the top of the edge of your nail and do the same thing. This will take a little more filing because it's such a fine grit. It's going to take off a very, 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 very tiny sliver of the wrap that is near the end of your nail, but it's going to just take it from the top surface. So if you look really closely, which you probably won't be able to see on this video, but you'll see a very thin sliver of your nail showing. And that'll just make sure that the jams or the nail wrap is not sticking out past the end of your nail. If that happens, sometimes they can get roughed up and can catch on things like fine fabrics, silk and things like that. Microfiber, you'll feel it kind of catch on that. And this just makes it really smooth. And this is the first time I'm using the glass file, and it feels really, really smooth. So I think I'm going to like this. All right, and then we can go ahead and do this other one. 90 degrees just to make sure we get that wrap off. Alright, so here's the excess, and then I'm just gonna take the glass file at not quite a 45-degree angle. And there you go. And sometimes I will, just for good measure, pop it back in the baggie. Just make sure it's good and sealed on those edges. And there we go. Yay! These are gorgeous. All right, I also told you that I was going to show you another quick tip on how to get your wraps the right shape for your nails if you don't happen to have the same shape of nail as the wrap. And that is by simply using some tape, not the clear invisible kind, but the stuff that's easy to remove. It's kind of got a white sheen to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of tape and you're going to just pull up it on your nail and push it down. Why I did this on my on my right hand, I have to use my left hand. It's beyond me, but anyway. And then you're just going to take a pen and make sure you find one that works. First of all, there we go. You're going to trace the shape of your nail bed. All right, so there you go. That's the shape of my nail bed. And then you're going to take that off, and you're going to take the back side. Because if you stick it to the front, then when you remove the tape, you're going to have it stuck to your wrap, and sometimes it's hard to get those two apart. You're going to take the back side, and you're going to find which one fits it better. So this one looks like it fits pretty good. So then you can plop that on there, and then just take your scissors and cut out along the inside edge of that line you made with the tape, and that should give you a pretty good fit. I'm not going to do that right now. I've done that especially for my toenails because they are all kinds of weird shapes, and when you have to cut one of these guys down into 8 pieces and then you've got like squares and you have to make them kind of half moon shapes, that really works well for that. But I'll do another tutorial on pedicures another time. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my nails, and I'm sure you don't want to watch the whole thing because that might be boring. But thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you to get a good application on your Jamberry nail wraps.